Hi everyone, welcome back to Codon's Fiber course. This is the fourth episode where we will start on a basic project, a to-do list application. Today we will learn about how we can break files and folders to make our project cleaner and scalable. If you don't know me, I am Anand Chaudhary, your mentor for this series. Without any further delay, let's get started for today's topics. Let's quickly discuss the why part of today's topic. Why does folder structure even matter? So here's the thing. When a project grows beyond a few files, everything can start to look messy real quick. That's where folder structure comes in. It gives your project a proper skeleton. Think of it like organizing your workspace. You don't keep all your clothes, books, and food in one drawer, right? Similarly, we don't want all of our code in one file or folder. Now, let's talk about the structure we will follow, and that's the MVC pattern. MVC stands for Model, View, and Controller. And this is how most large scale applications are organized, even in Go. Let's break it down real quick. Model handles the data and business logic. This is where you define how your data looks and behaves. View. In APIs, we don't really have front end views. So this part is basically the response we send back. Controller. This is the brain that connects everything. It receives the requests, calls the model if needed, and sends back the response. Alright, now let's quickly have a look at how can you structure any backend project of yours. While this one will be majorly focusing on Go, but the files and folders remain the same, just the extension changes for every program. First of all, you'll have a root directory. Here we have named it Fiverr app, inside which you'll have a src folder, in which you will have a controllers folder. Controllers folder is the folder that will handle all the incoming requests. Think of controllers as the middleman. They receive the request, talk to the server or the model, and send the response back to the client. DB. This is where we set up our database connection, whether it's MongoDB, Postgre, or MySQL. All the connection logics are configured live here. Next up, we have middlewares. This folder contains reusable logic that runs between requests and response. Things like authentication, logging, rate limiting, or handling cores. We have already discussed middlewares in our past episode. If you don't know about them, go ahead and check that out before going on with this project. Then we have models. Models define the shape of your data, basically the structures or schema that helps represent your database tables or collections. Then we have routes. This folder defines all the API endpoints. Each route maps to a specific controller function like API/users or API/posts. Types. This one is optional. This one's for the custom types or interfaces that we will use. Super useful for keeping your codebase clean and adding type safety and making it consistent throughout. And then last file that we have inside this folder is app.go. This is where the Fiber app is initialized. Middleware and routes are registered right over here. Then outside, in the root directory, we have a .env file. Here we store the environment variables like your database credentials, API keys, ports, or things you don't want to hard code in your source code in general. Make sure the .env file is always kept in the .getignore file and is always kept safe and secure. Then we have server.go. This is the main entry point. It imports the app, starts the server, and begins listening for requests. Then we have go.mod file. Finally, go.mod keeps tracks of your modules, names, and dependencies. It's like package.json for Go projects if you know JavaScript. Now let's go to our terminal or VS Code and actually start making files and folders to actually start on our project. Alright, so now we will start setting up our folder structure for our backend projects. Let's start by making a folder where we will actually keep our project. I will name this one as todo underscore go. Now let's get inside todo underscore go, and here firstly I will do go mod init todo. This will initialize the go.mod file that will manage our dependencies for us. Now we can install Fiber using this command, which I just copied from Fiber's official documentation, so can you. Let's wait for a bit till Fiber installs. Okay, it's done now. Now we will make the folders. For that, I would like to go to VS Code first. Okay, now that I'm on my VS Code, let's actually start making our folder structure. Firstly, we will make the src folder in which we will have controllers, db, the middleware folder, models, and lastly we will have the routes folder. I won't actually be making types folder as it is not required for us now. It is a fairly basic application and we won't actually be playing with types much. But on longer run, if you are actually making some very large project, we will require a lot of service folders, service files, controller files. Then you should define types just to make sure that each and every response coming from our backend is consistent. Now we will make some files. In src, we will make app.go. In our root directory, we will make .env and server.go. Sorry, server.go. Okay, in our empty app.go file, we will make a simple function which will initialize our app variable to run our Fiber server. I will come back right after I have completed that. Here you can see I have not declared, neither I have declared function main, neither I have written package main. So this just makes sure that it is not our actual file which will be running. The file which will be running is server.go, where we will declare package main, and here we will import to-do slash src. We have written to-do slash src because our module's name is to-do, in which we have another package called src that we have declared right over here. And from here it's simple. We will declare a main function in which we will do app src dot setup app. And now we will simply just declare a port which will be 3000. I'm so sorry, colon 3000, and we will make it listen app.listen on the given port. Here actually just log the println server started on port. This will just simply make sure that our app is running and we don't even have to open browser to check our app. Let's just run go run server.go. Let's wait a while. Okay, it is because we have not imported log. Now it should work. As you can see, it has started to work and you can see this message on your terminal as server started on port 3000. Now we won't even have to open our browser to check if our server is running or not. Okay, that was only the coding part for our video. Let's have a last recap of our folder structure. The root app, inside which we will have a src folder, inside which we will have all our folders, controllers, database, middlewares, models, routes, services, and types, which is optional but recommended. and app.go, which will initialize our app variable, server.go, which will be in our root directory, which will initialize our actual server, then go.mod, which will define all the modules, and .env, which will manage our secrets. Now, in this episode, we have already discussed the folder structure and we already set up our environment. From next episode, we will learn database integration, model creation, and also secret management. Thank you everyone for being patient with me and making it to the end of this video. By the end of this video, you have a working fiber setup which is properly divided and is broken into different files and folders. Hoping to see you in the next episode of our fiber series. I would like to take a leave. Bye bye.